Many a times people speak about their weaknesses, and I can't lie, probably one of my biggest is the screen time. And remember, I've got 3 devices not even linked together. So that's 5 hours, 7 minutes. But Attack on Titan Season 4, Episode 1.
Welcome back, guys. I'm Cringista, first year medical student studying at Queen Mary University in London this year. I make videos on productivity, balancing gym, and help students on the medicine application process. I'm an advocate for theism, and my main aim is to help people live a happy and healthy life, and I'm hoping I can bring you on the journey with me.
Okay, so assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's Cringista, first year medical student at Queen Mary University of London, and hopefully in today's video, one thing, I was moving like I was stroking my hair. What is this? And if you're new to the channel, then hello. I'm first year medical student Cringista. Hopefully in today's video, we're going to try to answer one massive question that fills many people with anxiety. Trust me when I say many people are so unsure on how to answer this question. So it's important that you see the approach that I'm going to offer. Some people think that they should mention an actual weakness. Some people think that they should mention a weakness in the form of a strength. I then try to do a humble brag, and hopefully we'll cover what to do in this video today. And like for the last video, you're going to have 5 medical students that are hopefully going to show you how to answer this question. Now, one thing that I would say is ensure that you check the timestamps below, and inshallah ta'ala, that should really help you so you can jump to the section that you want. Obviously, you know how to use timestamps. And the last thing that I want to say is that today's sponsors are MedChart, my own company. This year, 2020, we did release many units, like 800 units of the UCAT ebook, which has helped out so many people. Lots of people are like, now I've got my medicine interviews going up, and they're actually copying the medicine ebook and they're benefiting from that as well. Do remember, it's £35 divided by 10, takeaway 1, because I know what it means to be broken. I'm not going to pretend like everyone's going to be rich. I'm not here to further inequalities, which sounds like an amazing excuse and reason for you to go get the ebook. But on top of that, it does have questions that I got last year. But similar questions, so so I hope you do benefit. Do pay attention to some of the tips because they're like holistic. And with no further ado, may Allah bless you guys, and let's kick into the video, inshallah ta'ala.
How to answer the question, what is your biggest weakness? And how to improve it. Remember, always think of that. So, unlike in other maybe job interviews, you should be honest in a medicine interview. And you should say what is your actual weakness, if you have one. It's okay, because remember, they're not looking for perfect candidates that are already doctors. They're looking for students who have finished A-levels or have finished the correct qualifications and are looking to come into this long journey, 5 years, 6 years. It's a vocation, because after you finish your degree, you're continuing to learn into your 20s, into your 30s as a doctor. So they understand that whatever weakness you have is something you're going to be working on. But the most important thing is, once you bring up the weakness, you have to talk about how you can improve it, how you have improved it. So always talk about things you have done. So if you talk about things like you struggle with organizing your time well, so you end up, how would you say, you end up revising for an exam really late into the calendar. So like you're 2 weeks, 1 week, and then a couple of days before. So you end up cramming information. Or maybe it's to do with organizing the time during the day. You don't organize your time like working at 9 and 10. You end up working late into the night, which affects your sleep. These are the type of common things that may not be common in people saying, but definitely common among people at university. I know this is a fact. Everyone has these issues with timing and organization.
So for the biggest weakness question, you need to pick a weakness. Obviously, don't actually tell them your actual weakness, okay? Because if it's something that directly goes against what you have to do in medicine, then it's not going to look good for you, okay? So and don't say anything silly like I work too hard or stuff like this. Like that's not going to get you any brownie points or anything like that, or any rep with the interviewers. That's just not how you approach it, okay?
I would say my biggest weakness is that sometimes I'm more concerned about other people than myself, and this often leads to less time and energy put into the things that I care about, and more time and energy spent trying to help others achieve what they want.
بالأنثى فمن عفي له من أخيه شيء فاتباع بالمعروف وأداء إليه بإحسان ذلك تخفيف من ربكم ورحمة. So a small tip that I would give when it comes to prior to any medical interviews, do remember to make your dua, especially if you are Muslim. And I know this is a separate point for those that are not. However, I think the dua of Musa
Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, may peace and blessings be upon him, was رَبِّ اشْرَحْ لِي صَدْرِي وَيَسِّرْ لِي أَمْرِي وَأَحْلُلْ عُقْدَةً مِّن لِسَانِي يَفْقَهُ قَوْلِي. Where essentially he's begging Allah so that he may have clarity in speech. So essentially ask God to give you clarity in speech, and then you won't make mistakes like me. But anyway, inshallah, let's carry on.
One of my biggest weaknesses, I'd say, is I'm overly ambitious and I tend to take on more tasks than I'm capable of, whether that be by not being able to say no to people's requests or just myself trying to do a lot more than I can possibly achieve. And sometimes this may lead to me being overworked, and then the quality of my work will also end up suffering. So one skill that I ended up learning to compensate for this is trying to be a bit more organized with time management. I've taken up list writing and sorting all the tasks that I have to do in a timetable, so that way I know exactly where I'm spending my time and where I'm putting my energy, and this has helped me manage this a lot more. So nowadays I know how much I can take, I know what my boundaries are, and it's making me a lot more productive. So although in the past this weakness of me not being able to say no and trying to do too much work, I've sort of learned to sort of get around that, and it's actually made me a lot more organized person.
My greatest weakness, I'd say I get too absorbed into a task. So when I see a complicated puzzle or a complicated kind of anything that kind of takes a lot of time and effort, I kind of get very much absorbed into it, and other things become less of a priority for me. It can be a good thing at times, but most of the time it just leads to me having some work piled up later on. But overall, that's kind of my biggest weakness, the fact that I can't say, okay, this requires this much time, leave it at that, no more, no less. And rather I just go, okay, this is the most important task, let's just put in all the effort, and a lot of the side tasks often don't get the attention they deserve.
I'm too compassionate. When you worked in a nursing home, people died and things happened, and you take that home with you. I think with working in a nursing home, it's allowed me to, harden the skin, so you don't take it all home, you learn how to manage it.
So you built a timetable, you actually physically got a piece of paper, drew out different hour blocks, talk about how much work you're going to put in this hour, made sure you calculated how much work takes in about 60 minutes, not overworking. Make sure you give your time, every couple of days you have like buffer hours where you work on things you missed out. If you talk about how you've organized work, and then if you also talk about results, so how, for an example, before you organized your work, you ended up not revising this much for this exam, and then a couple months down the line you did organize your work properly, and then you end up doing better in the exam because of that.
So Assalamu alaikum, everyone got to the end of the video. I'm so gassed that you got to the end of the video, and inshallah ta'ala, God's willing, you have benefited from it, and if you haven't, then it is what it is. But nonetheless, just to show me that you've got to the end of the video, can you put like a tweet emoji in the comments, just so I can see who the real ones are? But nonetheless, check out the other video that I've made on why medicine and how to answer that as well. That should be at the end of the Q&A playlist. And with no further ado, may Allah bless every single one of you. Assalamu alaikum. Peace.